Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So here in this SAP BDC interview prep series, I'm going to cover all the concepts one by one in plain, simple language so that you will be able to understand the concept and the logic behind it, as well as you will be able to create some notes, get some notes, and prepare yourself for your upcoming next interview. So let's get started. Now, imagine you are sitting in Bangalore and your friend is in New York, has a huge library of books. Now, instead of shipping all those books to India because it will be expensive, slow, and the books might be outdated by that time they arrive, you just call your friend and say, "Hey, read me page 47 of that book right now." You get live and accurate information without moving anything even. So that's exactly what remote tables do in SAP Business Data Cloud. And if you're preparing for SAP BDC interview, buckle up because this is one of the most favorite topics. So let's break it down from zero. So guys, here's a classic enterprise problem I'm taking right now. Let's say your company runs S4 HANA for finance, Salesforce for sales, and maybe some data sitting in Azure. Your analytics team in SAP BDC needs all of it. The old school approach, copy everything into one place using ETL pipelines. That is your extraction, transformation, loading, right? That sounds reasonable, right? That is the old school approach everybody used to follow. But here's the catch. The moment you copy the data, it starts going stale. Now your S4 HANA as a new invoice posted at 9 a.m. You copy in BDC still shows yesterday's numbers at noon. And now you have two versions of truth. Which one does the CFO trust? Remote tables flip this entire model. Instead of bringing data to BDC, BDC reaches out and reads the data where it actually lives. Listen to me carefully. Instead of bringing the data to BDC, BDC reaches out and reads the data where it actually lives or live in real time through remote tables. Yeah. So what exactly a remote table is? Think of it like a window in your apartment. You don't own the park outside, but through the window you can see it anytime you want in real time, right? If it's raining outside, your window shows rain. If the sun's out, you can see the sunshine. A remote table is that window. It's basically a virtual table inside SAP Datasphere that points to a real table sitting in an external system like S4HANA or any cloud database. Understand, it's a virtual table which sits inside SAP Datasphere, one of the layer of SAP Datasphere, and it points to the real table, the actual table which sits inside your external system like S4HANA or cloud, etc. So when someone queries it, or when someone queries some data, DataSphere reaches through that window and fetches the live data and serves it back. The data never leaves its home. And this approach is called data federation. And it's a very important term for your interview. Here, if you can see, I have put a comparison. And this is absolute gold for interviews. So please pay close attention. A local table is like your own fridge at home. Food is stored there, always instantly available, but someone has to go out and buy and stock it regularly, right? But a remote table is like Swiggy. You don't store the food, but you can order it fresh anytime, directly from the restaurant. And the data flow is like a meal prep service. It does a big batch job. It cooks everything, stores it in for weeks, but it's not live. For interview questions like when would you use a remote table over a data flow, the answer should be use remote tables when you need live and real time data, and use data flows when you need large volumes of data and at the same time performance optimized batch processing. So just prepare this. When would you prefer remote table over a data flow? Let's peek under the hood. When you set up a remote table, three things are in play. First, the source system. Let's say S4HANA in this case, which has the actual table with real data. The second one is the connection object in Datasphere, which is like a secure tunnel or a verified phone line between a Datasphere and that source. Third, the remote table itself, which sits inside Datasphere and knows when someone queries me, go ask S4HANA this particular table. So when a finance analyst run a report, Datasphere sends the query through the tunnel. S4HANA executes it on its own HANA database and sends back the results. The analysts see live accounting data, and not a single row was copied. Clean, efficient, and always fresh. Before you create a remote table, you need a connection. And interviewers definitely ask about this. Think of a connection like registering a new contact on your phone. You do it once, enter the name, number, details, everything, and from that point on, you can call that person anytime without re entering everything. A connection in DataSphere stores all the credentials and technical details needed to talk to a remote system. Your admin usually sets it up: the host address, the username, the password, the protocol, everything. After that, everyone in DataSphere can use it to create remote tables from that system. Datasphere supports a wide range of connections, like from SAP systems, it could be S4HANA BW. It could also support cloud platforms like Azure, Google BigQuery, and external databases like SQL Server. Now let's walk through actually setting up a remote table step by step, exactly how an interviewer might ask you to explain it. So you start inside your data spare space. Think of a space as your own team's dedicated workspace. You open the data builder which is where all the data modeling happens. You click import remote tables. Datasphere will now show you all the connections available. You pick the right connection, let's say it's S4HANA for now. The Datasphere will then browses the remote system and shows you available tables. So let's say you search for VBAK. You select it and hit import. That's it, nothing else. The remote table is now inside your space, ready to be used in views, models, and reports. A bonus tip for you. You can optionally turn on replication, which means DataSphere will periodically copy the data locally for better performance. But in default or by default, it federated live and real. It's federated live and real. So basically, this is how you can enable replication as well, along with data federation. Now, here's a nuisance that separates good candidates from great one. The replication modes. You should know that. So by default, a remote table works in federation modes. Every query goes live to the source. It's always fresh, but can be slower for larger data sets. Snapshot replication is like taking a photograph. You copy the data at a point in time into Datasphere. It is fast for reporting, but the photos get old too. Now, real-time replication uses something called CDC. This is also one of the important concepts I'm going to cover in my next few videos, change data capture. So imagine instead of rephotographing the entire scene every hour, you only capture what changed. A new chair was added, a lamp was moved, you capture that only. CDC works the same way. It monitors the source system for changes and syncs only the deltas into the data spare. So this gives you the best of both worlds, right? Performance and freshness. Knowing when to use each mode will seriously impress your interviewer. Now guys, let's bring this to life with a real story. Let's say ACME Corp uses S/4HANA for their entire sales operation. The VP of sales walks into Monday morning's meeting and wants to know how many orders did we close this morning. In the old world, the data team runs an ETL job every night. So the VP is looking at Saturday's numbers on Monday morning. She is making decisions based on the stale data. That's dangerous. Now, if we use the remote tables in SAP BDC, the admin sets up a connection to S/4HANA. A remote table is created on VBAK table. SAP Analytics Cloud connects to Datasphere, which federates the query all the way to S/4HANA. The VP's dashboard shows orders placed 2 minutes ago. She walks into that meeting knowing exactly where the business stands right now, and that's the power of remote tables. Now, here's something that will make interviewers respect you. Knowing the limitations. You should know the limitations. Don't just sell the technology. Show that you understand the trades-off also. Remote tables in federation mode send every query to the source system. If 50 people are running the report simultaneously, that's 50 live queries hitting your S/4HANA production system. That can slow things down definitely, both for the reports as well as for S/4HANA production system. That can slow things down. Like for reports as well as people using S/4HANA production system. So for every large data sets, federation can also be slow because the data has to travel across the network. So the smart answer could be like use federation when data freshness is critical and volumes are manageable. For large scale analytics, turn on replication. You get the setup simplicity of remote tables but the performance of local storage as well. And for complex multi-setup or transformations, you can use data flows. Knowing this nuisance, that's what get you the offer. So just clear these concepts, when to use what at what time. All right, guys. So here are some top 5 interview questions on remote tables. So let's do a quick rapid fire. Here, you should know what is a remote table, a data federation, a connection, when not to use remote tables. Like you should know the fact that when to use replication, or sorry, when to use remote tables, but you should also know when not to use it and when to use other options. And the replication modes of remote table, and you know, you should know the basic concepts when to use what and like why, how is this helpful, how it can be optimizable. So all these things will definitely help you to stand out. Okay, so this is about remote tables, guys. I have tried to cover all the conceptual related part, which are very important for the interviews. Now I request you to take out 2 seconds and subscribe to this channel because I put a lot of effort and my time to create the content relevant to interviews, which definitely help you somewhere. I receive a lot of good feedbacks about the content, so I really request you to subscribe to this channel so that it will help my channel to grow and to reach maximum people also. This is the ebook which includes almost 50 plus topics relevant to BDC interviews, and each topic is having 10 to 20 or maybe 10 to 15 questions with brief answers, which will help you to revise the whole concept. So once you go through all the concepts from my videos, I'll try to explain it in very simple and plain manner relevant to interviews. So it's like once you go through it, you can try this ebook as well. And I also post a lot of content, so do like, subscribe my channel. So hope these series will be helpful to you.